Welcome back to another episode of Man Reacts. Today, we're going to talk about why modern women just can't get it through their heads that men are now avoiding dating. You see, people get used to things all the time. Similarly, women are so used to being the queens in their own little bubbles and expect men to treat them like royalty all the time, that when men decide they don't want to date them anymore, they don't know what to do anymore. More and more men have realized the true nature of women and are going their own way. Men are expected by society to act and behave in specific ways. Back in the day, men were supposed to marry early, care for women in every way, and raise many children. Now, with the liberation of women in modern society, men are expected to let the women in their lives decide when marriage is beneficial for them or not. Nowadays, men typically date and get married around their mid-30s. They only do that when they are financially secure, when they are clear about their life goals, and when they have found the kind of partner they want to spend the rest of their days with. But if a woman comes out and says she doesn't want to get married or date anyone because she's content pursuing her job or simply doing her own thing, chances are people would applaud her and tell her how brave she is for making this choice. But if a man claims that he isn't considering getting in a relationship because he is content with his current lifestyle, earning enough money for himself, and has basically had enough interactions with women to know that he doesn't like that aspect of life or that it isn't worthwhile of his time or resources, he will be viewed as being selfish because he isn't doing everything for women. Women want men to live their lives for them. Why is that? Why are men subjected to a different thought process regarding dating? Why does society think it's okay for women to enjoy a single life, but men have to shoulder the burden of those who do want to get married? First, I think it's because men have always had the role of being providers for women throughout history. They were the hunters and gatherers, they were the protectors, and they were the decision makers for a lot of people, including large groups. It's only when society sort of developed into what it is today that we have women who are also the decision makers of groups and even companies. They're heading households, leading governments, and basically have the same level of independence that men have, maybe even more. So I think it's hard to let go of preconceived notions that have been around for ages, and one such notion is that men need to provide for women and for other people as well, because that's what makes a man. Secondly, since society has changed so much, and since the roles of women have changed so much, we're still in that space and time. Like if you zoom out to see a timeline of things, we're now in the celebratory phase where women are celebrated for choosing to not have families and children, because it means that a woman is fighting those same preconceived notions today to change her destiny. I'm sure if we fast forward 100 years, people will say the same thing to women. It's extremely selfish of them to not have children when it is in fact women who can naturally and biologically have children. Men don't have such biological resources at their disposal, so they can't be the ones giving birth. Another thing that comes to mind when I think about this is that the human population will probably decline over the next couple of centuries because more and more women will choose to not have children. Society will keep on encouraging women to live their own lives the way they want, and when they won't have any children, we'll see a gradual population decline, especially in developed nations. Men have had it with women trying to constantly manipulate them, cheat, and live off of them for their own personal reasons, as well as to fit into society. These men have had multiple experiences with multiple women to only realize the true nature of women. The second reason is that men just don't want to deal with the constant drama, the negativity, and the fact that they're constantly being used. These men give their 100% at their careers, 100% at home, and do everything they possibly can to make women happy by going out the way and to even putting their lives at risk sometimes. However, when they realize that all they're doing is just something that women take for granted and that these women do not give their 100% into the relationship, men want to go their own way and live a life of peace instead. And women just can't stand that men are now avoiding dating for these particular reasons. Also, for men who have relationships, there's no certainty that it's going to work. In other words, it's a complete gamble where you put in your cards and money and do not know what's going to happen afterward. Anybody who gets married to the girl he likes can have his life ruined. The woman he knew before can turn out to be someone else and instantly want him to give her money, buy her a car, buy her a house, and luxury products for the rest of his life, knowing that it might be difficult for him to provide all of that. And when he can't get her all of those things, she'll start giving him the silent treatment. The same silent treatment she learned to use as a child against her parents when they did not buy her that particular toy or Barbie doll. Do you see what I mean here? Conventional dating as we previously knew it is no longer an option, and I seriously doubt that it ever will be for the great majority of people after the epidemic. Men and women would previously meet in public places to spend time and money in exchange for companionship and romance. They would use the standard method of hooking up, where the man would have to invest all of his resources, including money, time, energy, and complete attention, in order to satisfy the woman's need for validation, while the woman would prefer to be showered with gifts and taken on expensive dates before having to appease the man. The dating paradigm, however, is beginning to change, and you can trust me when I say that something new will take its place based on digital social interactions and the condition of the economy. Given how difficult times are getting due to rising inflation, both men and women are becoming more and more concerned about how they can pay for their monthly basic needs like utilities, rent, gas, phone, and internet bills, and also splurge on dating. Although these instances are hypothetical, they carry a lot of weight and can help us choose where we should head. I want you guys to take a look at the younger generation and note how they have become more commercialized, especially in the wake of the epidemic. There may not be a more accurate saying than men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and don't misinterpret it. Men and women are different, and that's okay. It would be preferable if we went back to the days of common sense. Nowadays, toxic ideologies that encourage women to act as though they don't need a man and males to be emasculated are proliferating much too quickly. What are the outcomes of all of this? Search your surroundings for the solution. In practice, women have more rights than men in some regions and have employment, bank accounts, and other perks. This final statement is quite telling, and it explains why so many men choose to play it. In conclusion, dating is going through a transformational shift that women were not ready for. Men have constantly been forced to adapt to the different rules of the dating game because women have always changed them as per their requirements. Men are not going to play their game anymore. It's the end of the line for them. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe for more content from Man Reacts.